But you want to watch out for that attack, because he can send you back to the beginning of the dungeon. I struggled so much with this guy when I first played through this game. I struggled so much with him, because I just could not finish it for the life of me. I was trying to spam the sword attacks, and it just wasn't helping my case or anything like that. And it was such a pain to go through, because every time he sends you back to the beginning, you gotta go back the long way around, and it's not the most ideal situation in the world. Getting sent back to the beginning is making me think of something, so, I don't know why that made me think of this, but having the one guy punch Link back to the beginning of the dungeon made me think of the Steve trailer in Smash, where Mario gets punched out of the Smash world and ends up in Minecraft. And I remember watching that trailer, and I thought for certain that the sound effects, they were, oh wait, hold on. Wait a second. Those crystal switches, they were supposed to be activated, but because we left the dungeon, technically speaking, they reset. Whatever are we going to do about that? Where could there possibly be a crystal switch in this dungeon? This is going to be the fastest route to get to the crystal switch, and if you got stuck on this, so did I. This is probably the puzzle that I get stuck on the most whenever I replay through this game. But if you go over this way, there's a bumble wall over here that you don't see the cracks on. You don't see the cracks on this for either of these sides. It's over on that side, and it's over on this switch area too. But just go over here and activate the switch. This is the most evil crystal switch in the entirety of the Zelda series, and it might be speaking hyperbolically saying that, but it just really does feel that way. Makes me think of Twilight Princess, how a lot of the switches needed to activate puzzles in that game required you to look upwards, and if there's one thing that video gamers do stubbornly without even realizing it, it's trying to look upwards. Every game designer out there probably knows my pain. Like, seriously, it is such a pain trying to convince players to look upwards and things like that, because when you have a game with a free roaming camera, it can be a little bit difficult to convey, hey, dum-dum, look upwards, the switch is up here. But yeah, going back to the Steven Minecraft trailer, so when I was watching that trailer for the first time, I thought for certain that the character was going to be a Zelda character, because Mario ends up in a super dark cave area when you hear monsters in the background. I thought for certain that it was going to be like Zelda from Breath of the Wild being a new character, because we are super long overdue for a new Zelda character in Smash. Link having Breath of the Wild inspired moves in Ultimate does not count. We need like an entirely new character. We haven't had a new character since Melee. Brawl had Toon Link, but he was like a clone. And we've had so many missed opportunities for great new Zelda characters in Smash. Like, the fact that Midna and Girahim were never added as playable characters is just ridiculous. But also, we finally beat this guy! We did it! We did it! Yay! We finally beat him! He wasn't that difficult, but I remember struggling with him when I was a kid. But, without further ado, the final item in the game! A lollipop! That's what I thought it looked like. You've got the magic rod. Now you can burn things. Burn it! Burn, baby, burn! Oh, I love this item so much. Okay, when I was younger, I didn't think much about the magic rod because I just thought it was like, oh, it's that one item that we get towards the end game. We don't get to use it very often, so it's a little bit unfortunate. But trust me, if you're able to get the magic rod early in the game, there are glitches that can let you do that. Like, first of all, we can just burn this guy. He gave us so much trouble earlier, but now we can just burn his stupid face, and it's awesome. But also, If you're doing like a screen warping playthrough in the original game, and you try using the magic rod on some of the earlier enemies, it is insane what you can do. It is awesome. We're gonna do a bit of a round trip to get some of the last Twizard chests. I believe there were 2 more. Yes, there are. It's just so satisfying seeing everything burn. Lady Gear out of context is gonna have a field day with that one. If I had a Lady Gear out of context. Actually, I do. His name was James. Yay, we're going back into this area, and we fell down the hole. I haven't commented on it in a while, but I still love the sound effect Link makes when he falls down. It's just so satisfying. Alright, we're going to light up these torches. And boom. We get a small key. We can open a locked door. Remember those staircases that I mentioned earlier that we want to remember for later? Now is the time to explore them. The first one we're going to want to explore is going to be the one on the right. Let's go over this way. Hey there, somebody's playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm really curious what they're going to do with the next Smash Bros. Game. So, what I kind of want them to do, I kind of want them to just do like a Switch 2 edition of Ultimate, where it's like, they can like upgrade the graphics a little bit, and I don't need like a super stable frame rate. Like 60 FPS is good enough for Smash Brothers. I don't need it to be like 120 FPS or whatever. But I would like them to do a Switch 2 edition that includes all the DLC and maybe a couple more characters too. Because I feel like whatever they do with the brand new game is going to feel like a step backwards from what they did with Ultimate, because they brought back literally everybody. They're not going to be able to do that again for another game with how many characters they have now. Alright, this one's a little tricky, so I'm going to concentrate. And we did it! Okay, that's not too bad. But yeah, if they can include... if they did like a Switch 2 edition of Smash Ultimate and didn't do anything beyond that, I think I'd be fine with it. To make it worthwhile, they would definitely have to include some additional characters. I think 4 would probably be a good round number, because that would fill up the, that'd like make a complete square in the items in the character select screen. Now, if I were in charge of the next Smash Brothers game, I would definitely kind of go, not entirely a reboot route, but I would focus more heavily on improving returning characters. Because as fun as the returning characters are, they have some very severely outdated movesets. Like, Mario still has Flood from Sunshine, which, yeah, Flood's super fun and things like that, but... yeah, that's kind of an old game, so they probably could use some updates. We're going to run this way. I always find it whatever I do in this area, that I always bump into that last ice block on the left, and it triggers the message even though we have the magic rod equipped. So I was going a bit more roundabout route to try and make sure we didn't do that. Do that, and whee! Oh, brr, this is a block of solid ice. It's very cold. Yes, I know. That's why you have the magic rod. With all that taken care of, we got everything in the Turtle Rock, so now it's time for one more nightmare. You're finished. I will never let you play the instrument of the sirens. This guy probably has my favorite name in the entirety of Link's Awakening bosses. His name is Hothead. And remember earlier in the Scary Demon Dungeon when we came across a boss fight, and it was like a bunch of crazy choices? The fact that it was a bunch of crazy choices for a boss named Hothead, that's why I was giggling so much when we saw this guy in the Scary Demon Dungeon. I like this fight. I like this fight so much. I don't know if it's just me, but the face he makes whenever you take off the fire, he kind of looks like the Phantom of the Opera in a way. I know it's kind of silly, but that's just what I thought when I first saw this. Raggle, why did you come here? If it weren't for you, nothing would have to change. You cannot wake the windfish. Remember, you, too, are in the dream. All the secret seashells, all the heart pieces, all the instruments, every heart container. The dream is almost over. You've got the thunder drum. Egg. The egg on the mountain caught